What are the latest trends in BYOD adoption?
Well, I mean, it's happening kind of everywhere, just because of the massive increase in the number of mobile devices, you know. And I think since the tablets have been released, it's sort of driven it from the top down as well as the bottom up. And because a lot of executives wound up with iPads or other tablets very, very soon after that. So that has really pushed the necessity for IT organisations to have some kind of strategy in place, not sometime in the future, but now, as to what are we going to do about all those devices? How are we going to manage them? Whether they're provided by us as an employer or they're brought by our employees who do want to use them, they're critical parts of the way they use information or get access to information. So I think because there's been a push down from CEOs and boards as well as a drive up, it's just made it much easier to go and have a conversation with people about BYOD, and really irrespective of any industry they're in, including quite conservative and concerned industries about security and management like FSI, like government organisations. It is amazing to me how much that has changed in the last year and a half. So we are regularly able to go and have conversations with people about what's your plans, what's in place, what do you need to do to look at the security and the management aspects, and we've got a very strong story in that. So that's just been kind of a revolution over the last year and a half, because of the awareness and the massive number of devices that are now on the market that everybody wants to have access to information on.
What tips do you have for a company who was thinking of going BYOD?
Well, as you know, our approach is that we obviously like to sit down with these organisations and show them what's possible in terms of particularly managing a BYOD architecture, setting up a BYOD architecture. That, of course, that involves how do you know who the user is? How do you know which device the user is wanting to bring or get access to? Because so many users now have got a 3G or 4G phone, they've got a tablet, and they've got a PC. That's very, very common. So our tips are, you need to think about what is the flexibility of the infrastructure you're going to set up, particularly from a software as well as a hardware point of view, that will enable you to know who the user is, what the device is that an acceptable device to come onto our network? That's a policy you should be able to set up. We are very strong on the policy management capabilities at Aruba, which is why we do so well in this BYOD world. What's the security plan that you've got in place? Now, obviously, that's something that really matters to most organisations, particularly organisations that really care about security. So how are you planning for that? What kind of infrastructure are you planning to put in place? We have, because we're completely focused on that wireless architecture world, we're able to sit down and show people that you can indeed set up groups of users. You can control information access down to the device as well as to the user. You need to think about that. You need to think about what kind of access do I give employers, employees, contractors, guests, and guest access is different to employee access, is different to other, contractor access. You have to be able to put those things in place. You have to think about the costs, which we argue are very cost effective. Okay. That's the plans you need to think about.
What do you think is the future of BYOD, especially for businesses?
Right, well, I mean, as I've said on a few occasions, this is kind of an unstoppable train that's already left the station. And because we all like the availability of information on devices that we carry with us wherever we go. So businesses need to be able to enable their customers, their employees, to get access to information securely, independent of physically where they are. They shouldn't have to be sitting in the office to get the access. They shouldn't have to be only sitting at home to get access. You shouldn't force them to specific locations necessarily. So because there is tremendous capability to enable that right today, we argue whether it's a small to medium business, whether it's a very large enterprise with lots of employees all around the world, and we've got customers who've got over 100,000 employees, all of that, or whether it's a government organisation, whether it's a telecommunications company providing hotspot services, being able to enable that independent of location and set up the appropriate security aspects, which is what we can do today, and show them we can do that. The businesses want to provide good customer information access. They want to have a good relationship with their own employees in terms of making them more effective and more productive. That's what BYOD will enable, and that's why there's such a strong push, if you will, for all of the CIOs and CTOs that we get to talk to put something in place that is acceptable to the management and the board, but is a great customer delivery to their internal and external people. And so you're not going to be able to stop this. That's why we get so many conversations about that on a daily basis.